Welcome to American Broadcasting Station. With just one simple click, kindly subscribe to our channel for more updates. Cold, dark and without power. Ukraine faces outages as Russian attacks begin a long winter. I am angry, I am fed up with the war, but we should stand to the end. We will win, I have no doubt, said one Kyiv resident. Ukraine now faces widespread power outages as the country's energy system struggled to cope with the damage from a wave of Russian attacks. Civilians across the country were warned to brace for planned power cuts of up to 4 hours at a time as Ukraine's national energy company Ukrenergo urged people to charge all their devices and stock up on warm socks, blankets and flashlights. Putin's forces have launched intensified missile strikes and kamikaze drone attacks against critical infrastructure in what Ukrainian officials and Western military analysts say is a deliberate new strategy by the Kremlin ahead of winter. From Kharkiv in the east to Lviv in the west, Russian attacks have damaged or destroyed facilities across the country that have supplied power, heat and water throughout the war. Officials pleaded with people to conserve electricity as crews tried to keep up with the repairs. In just over a week, Moscow's military took out as much as 30% of the country's power stations. Kyiv has accused Russia of seeking to annihilate the country's energy system as colder weather sets in because the Kremlin's military is facing a litany of setbacks on the battlefield. We assume that Russian terror will be directed at energy facilities until, with the help of partners, which will ensure the ability to shoot down 100% of enemy missiles and drones, Zelensky said. People in the country's capital explained that they had been preparing for shortages by stocking up on candles, portable chargers, diesel generators, gas stoves and even thermal underwear and electric blankets. I feel anger more than fear, Veremenko said, adding that the strikes on Ukraine's energy systems show Moscow's desperation, which she said is all the more reason for Ukraine to resist. For months, the Kremlin said it was only after military targets, not civilian or critical infrastructure in Ukraine. But since the attack on a key bridge in the annexed Crimean Peninsula dealt Putin a strategic and symbolic blow, the Russian Defense Ministry has been open about striking energy targets within Ukraine. Western and Ukrainian analysts say it signals the Kremlin's new approach, demoralizing both Ukraine and its allies by attempting to fuel a humanitarian crisis. This is a new strategy, and a very dangerous one. It's aimed primarily at demoralizing the Ukrainian public, Fisenko explained, but also weakening Ukraine's overall defense capability and the resolve of Ukraine's Western partners. Betting that people faced with long-term energy outages will flee their towns and villages in a new wave of mass migration on a continent already strained by its own energy crisis, stoked by the conflict. The British Defence Ministry also said in an assessment this week that causing widespread damage to Ukraine's energy network is likely the key objective of the Kremlin's strike campaign. As Russia has suffered battlefield setbacks since August, it has highly likely gained a greater willingness to strike civilian infrastructure, in addition to Ukrainian military targets, the ministry said in its analysis. It's clear the majority of Ukrainians have responded with resilience and patience, adapting to rolling blackouts and preparing for a difficult winter ahead. This only increases the hatred for Putin and the Russian invaders, Fisenko said, adding that while the shortages may not break Ukrainians' fighting spirit, they could increase some people's openness to a peace deal, even a bad one, something Ukrainian officials said they are not considering right now. The winter will show how people really feel, he said. The Kremlin is making sure it's a cold and dark one. Kindly subscribe for more updates.